Hi, and welcome to the second live coding on trying to get better Jenkins usage at the Apache Maven project. So what we've got in terms of Apache Maven is we actually have a specific plugin that I've implemented that kind of gives us the ability to capture events as they come. So Git in Apache has this kind of idea of this Git pub sub mechanism that basically takes all events and publishes them on a long running socket. And then what we do is we take that pub sub events and then we publish them into the SCM API event system. And that's going to actually populate things and give us events. So given that this is kind of a plugin that's specific to Apache Maven, what I want to do is I wanted to reuse this plugin again to add in the functionality for the SCM Navigator. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off and create a new class. We'll call it ASF Git SCM Navigator. Yes, let's add it to Git. Turn this off. And this is going to extend SCM Navigate. So I'm going to start off, and from last time we know there's two different servers. So I'm going to start off, and I'm just going to allow. So we know we have two different servers. So we're going to start with a private final string server, and we'll have a constructor, and we're going to need a data bound constructor for that, and we need an ID, which thankfully the server works as an ID, and now we just need to visit sources. So if we remember from last time, we had that project index. So there's the project index. So what we really want to do is we want to go and do something like new URL server plus question mark this guy import fine open stream try put is equals. And that's going to be that one. So well, let's go with a reader equals new buffer reader, new input stream reader. Bum. Right, string line equals reader dot read line. So let's go this way. While null is not equal to line equals reader read line. Right. So at this point we have index equals line index of space if index that's 1, so that's an empty line. String repo equals line substring 0 index. Now at this point we want to go with observer dot observe, and we go with repo, which should be what we want. And should mostly be it. Let me just double check. Am I doing things right? So this is looking too easy. Source. So the Gitia plugin is the most simple implementation of these things. So let's look and see what I do here. So visit sources. So okay, I'm using this kind of other mechanism. So yes, we'll use the traits mechanism for that. It's probably better to use that. So let's go back here. Let's get some traits. We probably have to update dependencies. Let's update this to 2. I think it's 3. Let's go with this one to latest. So we need getter, setter, and this guy is a data and setter. What do I do? So yeah, I go unmodifiable and I go this. So it's kind of all I want. Bam, bam. So that's that. Now we're going to need to go and create ASF Git SCM source builder. So just to see what we've got a source builder, a navigator context, and a navigator request. So the navigator context is kind of the context in which we're doing navigation. The request is for created on a specific request, and then the source builder is used to actually build the source instances. So so the reason for this set of classes is it makes life actually easier because it removes a lot of the boilerplate logic we'd have to implement in the implements source builder ASM. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's not ASM, it's ASF. And I've typoed them all over the place. Okay, so source builder, and it's source of git scm source. It does. So we've got this guy, new, source. We're going to need to pull in some information about this, but that's what we do there. So this is what's going to create the SCM source. We need a navigator context, which extends SCM navigator context. So this is ASF navigator context, AS navigator request. This guy has to extend git, or sorry, navigator request. Right. So this one is going to be an ASF Git navigator. It's going to take the AS navigator context and the source observer. We want this public, and that's that. So that's that once the request is done. This guy, let's see what we need to do. New request. It's not too bad. New. This, oh, it's source, navigator. Oh, hang on. Navigator is navigator, right? Context is this, and observer. There we go. Why are you complaining? Ah, yes. Okay. Right. ASF Git. Right. Context. Context request. No. What did we do in Git here? Oh, we just go that way. Oh, right. Okay, I'm being too. That should just be navigator. Right. And then this can be navigator. Right, so that's the context, which gives us that one. This guy, we have to figure out something on here. Right. What did we do over here? Source builder. So what we want to do is we want to capture the bits of information that we need in the source builder. So that's kind of what we do. But let's go back here to navigator. So what we do is we kind of, well, let's just copy this. Copy and paste. It's your only man. So let's bung this stuff in here and see what we want. Okay. So we want the ASF navigator request is new ASF navigator context with traits new request. So that's pulling in this trait support for us. We don't need the Git connection, but you know, let's go and merge this bit. So let's take this stuff here and put it in here. That gives us our reader. So that's kind of the equivalent that we had there. So let's get rid of this. Right. So we'll do a count. And I like the checking repositories. We don't need that one. So we had hacks for this. Right. Now, okay, so we are now at the observing. Right. So count plus plus. Observer, observe, repository is what we did there. So we're not going to do that line. We're now going to write. So process, and there it's going to be repo. So IS. So we want to hyperlink node. Now in code 2. Right. Server plus. Now let's look at what these repositories look like. So it's going to be p equals maven git a summary. That'll work. So this is an URL, so URL, and it's an URL and it's in the query param thing, so URL encoder is actually the correct one to use. repo UTF-8 a summary, and let's go with repo. Right, let's import navigator request. So we now need the SCM source, so import that one, and now we use our ASF Git source builder. So get ID plus project name, and then it's what are the actual repository URLs. They're actually ASF plus that as a thingy, so it's gonna be server plus right, slash plus util raw encode repo. Now I'm using util raw encode, which in Jenkins is the path segment encoding rules. So the biggest problem I've seen that people do is the wrong time to use URL encode versus path segment encoding. And we'll use, instead of project name, well, actually that's going to be project name. Well, okay. We don't want the project name to be repo, to end in .git. So let's go string utils, remove, and git. And let's add in .git there, and plus bracket .git. Project name with traits build, that's that one. And so we need observer to be final. Bum, bum, bum. So it's just this guy we've got to do. So create constructor, string ID, string or remote. So class and project name. So we want git scm source.class and project name. And now let's actually just take these out here. Setter. This is a builder, so ID with ID. Well, now actually it's going to be no, that one, right? So we want remote source with ID. So let's look at what we did for Gitia. Gitia SCM source builder. We have, okay, we're actually picking them as final, and then we're returning them, and then we're actually setting. So let's go, yeah, final. We don't need the with remote. This guy. And so that's that one. And if we want it back here, we've got server. So that should be ID remote and project name. So that's that. We've only got 2 mistakes so far. Right, 1 mistake, and now we need to make it public static class descriptor impl extends SCM navigator descriptor. New instance, new, and public list box model do fill server comes list box model result new result add git WP result add git box that one, and return result, and then we need the traits. So SCM navigator, we can pick up the same tricks we have for that. So we want traits default and traits descriptor list. Right. So now, right, I don't think we're after this one. We want git SCM source. Git SCM source. Right, now we get a trait for SF navigator. SF navigator context, and it's going to be ASF source builder, and then we want the source traits for git SCM source context, and we want git SCM builder. That's logic. Now, we don't want a Git browser, and we'll see why in a second. And, right. So this is going to be repositories. This one is going to be written. So what we're doing here is we're populating the drop-down list for traits. And we're partitioning it up appropriately. That's interesting. So that's that. So that gives us traits defaults. And now at this point, we need to create a file to display the configuration. New directory / let's go new file. A factor. ASF Git SCM. We'll do that one. I just want a file. I can do the other ones later. And now we want to go new file. ASF Git SCM navigate /config.jelly. And let's go pilfering again. Main resources, Git SCM navigator. Here's config.jelly we can use. We don't. So that's server is going to be server. And we don't need those. And that's the rest of that. SCM traits, SCM navigator, and oh yes, add extension, and override. Display name. Return Apache Git. Apache hosted Git. Folder. We can figure out a nice name for it later. So at this point, we should be able to test it out. So let's go here, new tab, local host 8080/Jenkins. Waiting on the build. Okay, we have Jenkins up and running. Oh, come on. There we go. So let's create a new item. Apache hosted Git folder. Woohoo. Test. Okay, now this is going to go and try and do a lot of things that we may or may not want. So we want git WMP. We want to discover branches. I don't want to build anything automatically. So this is random. We'd be unlucky if there is a branch with this name. And I want to restrict what repositories we can actually discover. So I'm going to only find ones which begin with Maven. So I'm going to go Maven dash or Maven.star. All right. So I'm only going to find on Git WIP repositories with Maven star, and I want to discover branches. You know what? Let's discover tag. No, we won't. Yeah, we will. Discover tags, and then it's to recognize a repository if it's a Jenkins pipeline. And so let's see how lucky we are on actually implementing this. So if we save, we should now go to the scan organization, and you can see it's checking different repositories. They're all being ignored. Bum, bum, bum. And it's proposing Maven Resolver, and so it's gone. Now, it's failed to create subproject Resolver Git. Why is this? Fatal repository git. So we've got typos. This is a lot better than I'd expected. So this should be repo remove git. Ah, there we go. So we weren't removing the git, we were removing git parenthesis, which it didn't end in, of course. So this is the bit where you just wait while it's building. Right now we could have a chair fight. In the good old ways of xkcd, let's have a chair fight. Still compiling. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, it's not compiling anymore. Let's get rid of xkcd. Right, so let's try scanning again. Let's look at the log. There's always a phone. So we go down here, proposing resolver, and it didn't find anything there. Proposing surefire, so it's fetching surefire and indexer. What did it do on surefire? So have we got anywhere? So we're still not quite there. It's doing some things, but not quite everything we want. So we need to find out why it's doing nothing. So is match is that guy with the witness with traits build. Now, why is this not picking up? Ooh, I wonder. Config.xml. So let's look at what our actual navigator has. So we've got traits, and we've got branch discovery and tag discovery. But you know what we're not doing? We're probably not putting the with traits in. So the source builder has the traits, but we're not actually putting those traits in. So source with traits, set traits, right. So let's go new list. What does this take? SEM source trait. Traits. new array list traits add new Git browser SCM source trait new Git web and repo URL. Right, now how does this work? So it's going to be that guy plus that one, right? So right, we need server. Well, if we make this to server, we know the project name, so plus bracket dot plus util raw encode project name plus bracket dot get, and let's go with server plus bracket question mark p equals, and then plus util or no URL encoder.encode project name plus bracket.get comma UTF-8 new insertion error Java language spec mandates UTF-8 as ported encoding. So set sorts traits. Right. And then back here, we just want server now. We don't want project name. So that's okay. And now, let's go again. What is the latest XKCD comic? That's interesting. Me likey. Okay. Here we go. Starting Jetty. Oh, come on. Right, scan organization folder. We gotta find something. Here's the log. And aha, checking branches. So you see it's going to check branches in turn until it finds one that has the criteria. If it finds any with the criteria, it knows that's supposed to be an organization folder. And so now if we look, we can see we've got repositories automatically created for the 3 repositories that actually begin with Maven. And inside of this, we will now see that we have branches for all of them. And then because I didn't want everything to build, and oh look, we've even got tags. And you'll see there we've got the tags, which were created after the Jenkins file was added. So they're the only ones. Now the branches, because I told it not to build any branches, that stops my server that I'm using for testing from drowning in events. So that's kind of why I did that. So there we go. that works. It does what we want. At the moment, it's tied to having to scan the organization folder periodically. We can do better than that, and on a follow-up video, I want to show how we do that. And then in another follow-up video, if we actually look at what we're doing, so what we're doing in here is we're actually cloning the entire repository. And we can do better than that. We don't need to clone the entire repository, because if we actually look here, we've got information about the different branches, and if we go to any particular branch, we've even got information about the files, and we can even query the actual file, and we can even get the raw content of the file. So we should be able to get it so that we access just the information of the files using web URLs without needing to check out the entire repository. And that will have the effect of reducing the amount of disk space required, reducing the amount of time to clone, but it does mean that we can't do tons and tons of inspection on the repository, but we can do that when we're actually checking out. This is the whole point of SCM Source and SCM Navigator, is to allow us to quickly find the information, and then we do our actual checkouts. So that's it for this time. See you next time.